What's up, y'all? Y'all making it through the storm? How y'all doing? Come on in. Hey, Chanita, how you doing? How's everybody doing this evening? What's up, Miss Alondra? How you doing? That's okay, Miss Michaelin. I've been praying for you. I've been lifting you up to the Lord. Uh, been warring on your behalf. I hope you're experiencing God's presence in this season, man. Hey, Miss Annette, Keonta, I hope I said that right. Banika, what's up? What's up, brother Ori, brother Doug, Jesse? What's up, Miss Frenchie? Y'all holding on? Hey, Miss Nachi. Hey, Miss Roz, Carlos, Miss Angela. Look at my people. Y'all coming on in here. All right, all right. I said that. Yeah. I'm praying for you. I am praying for you. Hey, Miss Maddie. Um, Hope y'all doing well. Tell uh, brother Patton I said hello. What's up, Miss Cassandra and Naisha and Joy? Hey, Ma, how you doing, brother Frank? I hope y'all doing good, man. I said I wasn't gonna do Bible study. I honestly figured that by now the storm would have us out of power and all that good stuff, and it really didn't sit well with me. Honestly, not doing Bible study and just wouldn't get off of me. And I said, man, I feel like I want to go to the people with a word. If we got power and everybody's at home, then I want to talk to God's people. And so I thank God that we do still have power right now. We're actually in the middle of it, and I can hear the wind outside here at the house, and it's pretty strong. But hey, we still got power, and yeah, God's doing this thing, and He's watching over us, man. And so we thank God for it. But isn't that like a lot of stuff, man, where it's and look, if you're on Facebook, man, go ahead and start a watch party with me. Go ahead and share it, because I'm going to talk about God's presence in the storms. How about that? I figured if it's storming, we might as well talk about God's presence in the storm. You know, outside of like hurricanes, yeah, if 2020 hadn't taught us anything else, it's taught us that life can get real difficult real fast, get real crazy real fast. And as far as Louisiana goes, we've seemed like we've been inundated with storms this year. But that's a lot like life, man. In life, you seem like you either coming out of a difficult time, in the middle of a difficult time, or the old people say you headed into one. It's one of the three. And we would like to think that we're going to get to a part of life where difficulty is not part of it, but God doesn't promise us that. And I want to see you as your pastor. I want to see you live the blessed life. But I got to tell you that the blessed life is not a life where storms don't come. Come on, somebody. The blessed life is not a life where difficulty doesn't happen. But the blessed life is a life where you get to experience God in the middle of your difficulty. Come on. Where you get to experience God in the middle of your storm. Somebody need to facegram that or something. The blessed life is not where one where storms don't exist. Blessed life is where you get to experience God in the middle of it. Watch this, because to tell the truth about it, Some of us, we didn't have to wait for Zeta to come. Come on, we been in a storm. Our storm been going on. Our storm didn't start when the hurricane started. We been in the middle of a storm. I got some folks on here right now who going through a divorce storm, who going through a relationship storm, who going through a parent child storm, who going through a marriage storm. I got some folks on here right now who in a financial storm, some folks in a depression storm. Your storm might be a health storm. You might be saying, Pastor, I've been in a health storm. Some of us, we got anxiety storms. I will. Somebody say, Pastor, my storm didn't start with Zeta. My storm been going on. I want to tell you what to do and what to look for when you're in the middle of a storm. Let me tell you first, though, what not to do. And here's what you don't do in a storm. You never let the presence of a storm make you doubt the presence of God. Say that again. Never allow the presence of a storm to make you doubt the presence of God. Don't do that, because a lot of times we'll get in the middle of a storm and we'll think that because we're in the storm that God's not in it with us. No, many times God don't take us out of the storm. A lot of times He get in it with us. Come on, somebody. A lot of times he get right in it with us. You do know that it's in the presence of a storm where a whole lot of times you experience the presence of God like never before. Whole lot of times, I know I got some witnesses on here. There are some people on who are on this live right now who will tell you that, man, I thought I knew God. Come on, before I went through that storm, but I didn't know God before the storm, like I got to know God while I was in it. Come on, I know somebody know what I'm talking about. Somebody, when you look back on that storm, it didn't feel good. You didn't like it. It tested your mettle. But come on, the first time you heard God speak, where you recognized His voice, come on, somebody, was in the middle of that storm. The first time where you felt His presence was in the middle of that storm. You heard people say God will make a way out of no way, but you saw Him do it. It's different when you're in the middle of the storm and you see Him do it. Come on, somebody say it hit different when you're in the middle of the storm, huh? And so a lot of times God don't pull us out of the storm, but He get in there with us, man. But here's the thing. Listen. Don't wait till you get in the storm to make sure you have the presence of God. Make sure you have the presence of God before you get in the storm. Don't wait till you get in the storm to try to find God. Come on. You need to know His voice before you get there. Because when you in it, you need to be able to recognize, oh, that's my daddy. That's my daddy telling me what to do. That's my daddy telling me what not to do. Oh, I know that voice. That's my daddy giving me wisdom. Oh, I know that voice. That's my daddy giving me direction. Yeah, you got to know your daddy's voice before you get in that storm. So that when you get in it, it's not that you can't know it when you're in it, but there's a certain surety that you have when you know His voice before you get in it, so that when you're in the middle of it, when He speaks, oh, that's my daddy. That's my daddy. That's what my daddy said, peace be still. My daddy said I'm gonna be all right. My my daddy said that he gonna work this out. My daddy just reassured me. My daddy just showed me what I'm up against. My daddy just dropped some wisdom on me. So you got to get to know the creator of the wind and the waves before the wind and the waves get bad. Come on, somebody. You gotta know the one who speaks to the wind and the waves before the wind and the waves get roaring, before the wind and the waves get crazy. You ought to know that before you get in it. And so don't wait till you get in. Don't wait till the presence of the storm before you try to find God. Learn His voice. Get to know Him before you get in that storm. Right? In Acts 27, they had some men who were in the middle of a crazy storm. In Acts 27:20, and it was so bad that they thought there was no way they were going to survive. In fact, Acts 27:20 says, when neither the sun nor the stars appeared for many days, the storm continued raging. So they were in a storm that they thought was never going to stop. Come on. You ever been in one of those kind of storms where you just feel like it ain't never going to stop? And they said the Bible says they said we finally gave up hope of being saved. I've been in some storms that seem to go on and on and on and on and on forever. Seem like they never go in. You can't see a light at the end of the tunnel. And you know it. And these guys, they were in that kind of storm, man. And the Bible says they gave up hope of being saved. Watch this. Listen to me. You got any areas of your life where you've just given up hope? Somebody say, Pastor, yeah, there's no way my marriage gonna make it. Ain't no way I ever climb out of debt. Ain't no way I ever finish school. Ain't no way I'm gonna beat this illness. I'm Pastor. I've given up hope. I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. I've given up hope. I'll never be able to conceive. I've given up hope, Pastor. I ain't gonna be able to afford to send my kids to college. I've given up hope. Listen to me. They gave up all hope. The song Bible says the storm continued to rage, and they gave up all hope. Now let me tell you something. There's don't give up hope, man. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Listen to me. Even when the storm seems like it's gonna rage on forever, don't give up hope. Why? Because when you give up hope, you quit trying. When you give up hope, and listen to me, all hope is only lost when you decide that all hope is lost. I'll say that to you again. The only way that all hope is lost is if you decide that all hope is lost. You listen. You're not a failure until you quit trying. You're not a failure until you abandon your efforts. Somebody needs to hear that. You're not a failure until you give up and give in. You're not a failure till you throw in the towel. Come on. You might feel like a failure. It might seem like there's no hope, but as long as you have hope, there's hope. And so don't give up hope. Watch what the Bible says in about them, these people in this storm. Verse 21 says they're gone a long time without food. And the Apostle Paul, yeah, you ever been hungry? I don't like that. I don't like going along. I can go a long time without a lot of things. But Lord, don't let Pastor go a long time without food. I might feel like giving up hope if I have to go a long time without food. I go without lights. I can go without lights, but no, don't make me go a long time without food. The Bible says went a long time without food. Paul stood up before them and said, "Men, you should have taken my advice not to sail from Crete." In other words, Paul had told them, "Listen, y'all, now is not a good time. Don't do this. We shouldn't be going out." And now they're in the middle of the storm. Paul stands up and he says, y'all should have took my advice. But watch this. Don't you just hate it when somebody tell you something like that? I told you so. I told you, you should have done what I told you to do. You should have done what I told you to do. You should have listened. I hate when people tell me that. You hate it too. But can I tell you something? You hate it, but you do it too. You say it too. Come on, don't lie. You know you done said that to your children. You should have listened to me. When you gonna learn to listen to me? We love letting people know when we right, don't we? We love, and if we don't say "I told you so," we say something to the effect. Even when we don't say "You should have listened to me," we say something to the effect of "I'm not even gonna say nothing." Come on, Pastor. I don't say "I told you so," but you'll hit them with that. I ain't even gonna say nothing. See, because I ain't even gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it. You might as well say it now because you said it without being said, which I say what's understood don't need to be explained. Why? But why? Why, Pastor? Why were they in the storm? Listen to me. The reason why they were in this storm is because they did not listen. The Bible says that Paul told them this back in verse 9 and 10 that this voyage is going to end in disaster and loss. He tried to tell them, he tried to prophesy to them, but they would not listen. He had told them it's a dangerous time to be sailing. He had warned them what's going to happen if they went ahead and did it anyway. But they decided to go. See, here's the deal. But they would not listen. Can I tell you something? Buckle up. A lot of storms in our lives be avoided if we just learn to listen to somebody. Come on. If you learn, the Bible says in multitude of counsel there's safety. Whole lot of storms in your life you'll avoid if you just learn to get some counsel. Men, fellas, we a lot of times we too prideful to get counsel. A lot of times we too prideful to get advice. A lot of times we too prideful to ask somebody. We too prideful to listen to somebody. They were in the middle of this storm because they didn't listen. And a whole lot of times we get in the middle of the storm, watch this, because we don't listen. We don't listen. You got to learn to get some advice, man. Get some advice. Get some advice. I'm telling you, man. Find somebody. Who do I get advice from, Pastor? This is the other thing, too. A lot of times we listen to the wrong people. A lot of times we get advice, but we get advice from the wrong people. We get advice from the wrong people. Come on. Who do I need to be getting advice from, Pastor? You need to find somebody whose life look like you want your life to look in that area. Financially, you get advice from people who are financially stable. Why are you listening to them? Come on. And you ain't paid nobody and they ain't paid nobody either. Come on, man. Ain't paid nobody. And you taking financial advice. Why are you taking financial advice from people who ain't even paid attention? Ain't even paid attention. Come on, somebody. Get advice from people whose life look like you want yours to look in that area. Get advice, but get advice from the right people, man. Most of the time, the bad advice we get the most from is ourselves. We give ourselves the most bad advice. Most of the time, we get in trouble because we listen to ourselves, call ourselves being independent, and not getting advice. See, here's the deal. A lot of times, you got to ask yourself where the storm you're in came from. How did I get in this storm? Where did it come from? See, I'm gonna tell you something about thunderstorms, right? Thunderstorms happens when hot air meets cold air. Hot air rises, cold air sinks in the atmosphere. And two key ingredients for thunderstorms: instability and moisture. In other words, thunderstorms happen in nature partly as a result of instability. And a lot of times we try to blame God for a storm that was caused by our own instability. We try to blame God for a storm that was caused by our own instability. And sometimes I'm sure God is in heaven going, why you keep blaming me for a storm you caused? These people were in the storm because they made a decision to go out when the environment was risky. And it was their fault. They made the decision. And a lot of times I think we blame God for decisions that we made. We get ourselves into storms because of decisions that we make, and then we ask God why. Well, the reason why is because you made those decisions. Come on, somebody. See, we like to blame the devil for everything. It's the devil's fault. It's the devil's fault. The devil doing me this. The devil attacking me this way. The devil. Listen, sometime it ain't the devil. Sometime it ain't the devil. Come on. You. Sometimes you're in the storm. You create it. Sometimes you're in a storm because of your own foolish choices. Sometimes we're in the middle of a storm because, watch this, we're in the middle of a financial storm sometimes because we just spent too much money. That ain't Satan. That's bad spending habits. Sometimes we're in the middle of a storm because we let our emotions get the best of us and we said something we shouldn't have said. Come on. That ain't Satan. We just need to learn to keep our mouths shut. Sometimes we're in a storm because we procrastinated. We put things off. We didn't face things when we needed to face them. And now we're saying, that's the devil attacking me. That's not the devil attacking us. We're just being lazy devils. Hello, somebody. I'm just saying, sometimes you're in the middle of a storm because it's our own fault. And we keep blaming the devil, talking about the devil attacking us. Yeah, you right. The devil attacking you, and you the devil. You the devil. You know, and so you got to know why you're in the storm that you're in. The Bible says in verse 12, the harbor was not suitable in winter. The majority, I want you to get that. The majority advised to set sail from there also. The majority advised to set sail. Now watch this. The majority said, let's go, even though Paul said no. So that means that there are some people who are saying we shouldn't go. And there are some people saying we should listen to Paul. There are some people who are saying we should go. And there are some people who are saying, no, we ought to listen to Paul. There are some people who are saying, no, we ought to take this advice. So you got some people who ended up in this storm. I want you to get this. And it wasn't even their own fault. They said we shouldn't go, but the majority said go. So now you got some people on the boat in the middle of a storm that ain't their fault. And I don't know about you, but I hate being in the middle of a storm that somebody else created, that somebody else caused. I hate being. I'll take my lick for my own storm, but I can't stand being in the middle of somebody else's storm. Somebody say, "Man, that's me, Pastor. I'm caught in the middle of somebody else's." You ever been in the middle of a storm that wasn't your fault? You know, I run across people like that all the time. I see kids who in a storm because their parents crazy. I counsel parents who get caught up in the middle of a storm because that their kids created. Come on. So some of us get in the middle of storms that our jobs created. Some of us, we trusted somebody that we thought we could trust, and as a result of it, we ended up in the storm. Whatever the case may be, it's never fun being in the storm, middle of a storm that somebody else created. But watch what Paul tells him in verse 22. He says, we're in the middle of it. It's a storm. In verse 22, he says, but I urge you, keep up your courage. Keep up your courage. Listen, I want to encourage you tonight, whether you're in the storm that you caused or whether you're in the storm that somebody else created or whether you're in the storm that God just allowed in your life, you don't get nothing else from it tonight. I want to tell you, keep up your courage. Keep up your courage. Why, Pastor? Because this storm ain't going to take you down. No, it's not. Keep up your courage. Why, Pastor? Because this storm ain't going to take you out. Come on, somebody. Keep up your courage. Why, Pastor? Because this storm is not going to be your demise. Keep up your courage. Why, Pastor? Because this storm is not going to last forever. I want to tell you tonight, just like Paul told them, keep up your courage, man. How do you know, Pastor? How you know it ain't gonna last forever? How you know it ain't gonna be my demise? How do you know that it's not gonna be the end of me? Look at what Paul said. Paul said, because an angel of God, come on, to whom I belong and whom I serve. Watch what he says in verse 23. I love this. He said he stood beside me, y'all. See, listen to me. Listen, you got to hear me on this. Don't ever forget that there's a spiritual world that goes beyond what we can see. And sometimes there's all of this stuff that we can see that's going on around us. There's all of this stuff that we can see that's going on in our lives. There's all of this stuff that we can see that's happening. But also, don't never ever forget that there are angels that you can't see that have been dispatched for your protection. There are angels that you can't see that have been dispatched to minister to you in the middle of the storm. There are angels that you can't see that have been dispatched and just specifically for your encouragement. And then not only are there angels that God will dispatch in the middle of the storm for your encouragement, God Himself, help me, Holy Ghost, God Himself dwells with us. His Spirit dwells inside of us. He's there. He's hearing our prayers. Pastor, you sure He's hearing my prayers? Baby, I'm sure He's hearing your prayers just as sure as you are that you belong to Him. Come on, somebody. He's hearing our prayers. He's comforting us in our hurts. He's directing us when we're lost. He's giving us wisdom when we don't know what to do. I'm telling you that God stands beside us right there in the middle of the storm. And watch this. You have no idea how many different ways God is with you in the presence of a storm. I'll tell you a story, man, that kind of illustrates this. I got a phone call a while back, man, from a concerned friend of mine, and there was a situation that was going on, and with somebody, and they didn't know who to contact about the situation, and so they reached out to me and asked me if I had any contacts that could help them with the situation. And it was a law enforcement situation, not anything, crazy, or well, it was kind of crazy, but it was in order. All right, so there was a person who needed protection from somebody who was mentally unstable. And so I reached out to my law enforcement friends, and I told my law enforcement friends about it. And what my law enforcement friend was able to do, because this person was saying they were going to do this and they were going to do that, and they were going to blow this up and they were going to blow that house up, and they were going to make sure that person was in it. And, they would create video, all kind of crazy stuff. And so I reached out to my law enforcement friend who's in charge of that kind of stuff, and they took care of the situation. And I'm sitting here going, and I'm sitting here, and I told him, I said, man, I said, that person was a threat. And he said, yeah. And I said, dude, I said, how much do y'all deal with that? And you know what he told me? He said, man, if the public knew how much we actually saved them from, it would scare them anyway, although we stopped the threat. He said, there's a lot of things that we take care of before it even gets into the public eye. He said that the public doesn't even know about. He said there are a lot of situations that we protect. Yeah, somebody gonna get where I'm going with this. There are a lot of situations that we protect the public from that they don't even know we protected them from. Oh, Pastor, what are you saying? What I'm saying is you have no idea. Come on, somebody. All the different ways that God is with you in the presence of a storm. See, you take for granted that you know, or that you think that you think you can see all of the different ways the enemy tried to take you out. Come on, somebody. You take for granted that you think you know all of the trouble that you were actually facing, all of the times that you were right there on the brink, all of the times that you were in danger, and God dispatched His angel. Come on, somebody, and protected you, stopped it from happening. guarded you, placed a buffer around you so that you couldn't be touched and you didn't even know anything about it. See, that's why you should never let the presence of a storm cause you to doubt the presence of God, because you never know how many different ways. Oh, yeah, he's amazing. You never know how many different ways God is protecting you, and you don't even know it. You have no idea. No idea. No idea. Some of the stuff, come on, that God blocked that the enemy was trying to do. No idea. Some of the stuff that God didn't allow, that he could have allowed, or that he did allow, and there was a domino effect to where it benefited you and ended up being for your good. Wow, man. We serve an awesome God. That's why you should never let the presence of a storm cause you to doubt his presence. 2 Timothy 4:16-17. And I'm gone. Apostle Paul said this. He said, everybody else deserted me. He said, no one stood by me. But watch what he said. But the Lord, whoo, I get excited when I see that. But the Lord stood at my side and gave me strength. What's going on here, Pastor? You know I like to give you the background. Paul's writing from the city of Rome in the Roman Empire, and he's sitting in a prison cell. He's awaiting his trial before the Roman government, and this is actually his last one before his execution. Within months of his execution, within months of writing this letter, he was led out and he was actually beheaded. But he was beheaded, and Paul's writing this letter, and he's saying, man, everybody has abandoned me. And then in particular, he points out this one dude named Alexander. Read it when you get a chance in 2 Timothy 4:16-17. And he says, Alexander did me much harm. Now, he never says what Alexander did it. You know, he might have been the person who was responsible for having Paul arrested. He might have turned his back on him. He might have betrayed him. We don't know what he did, but could you imagine the struggle that you would have in thinking about Alexander, a person who had you put on death row unjustly? Paul, you know, in the first hearing that he had that preceded his formal trial, what he was saying was, nobody showed up for me. You know, among everybody, among all of the Christians in Rome, Paul was saying there was not one person who stood by my side in court to speak on my behalf. Now, I want you to understand something. This is Paul, who had ministered to so many Christians. This is Paul, who had ministered to so many people. This is Paul, who had ministered to so many believers. Paul, who wrote a lot of the New Testament. This is that Paul. He had given his life to the church. Imagine how it made Paul feel when the church that he gave his life to let him down. I need to tell somebody who's going through it right now that but notice what Paul says. Notice what he says. Paul says, everybody else deserted me. No one stood by me. Come on. He said, but the Lord stood by my side and gave me strength. Man, I was talking to a grieving mother not too long ago, and she told me something. She said, Pastor, she said, everybody else moves on after the funeral. She said, everybody else goes on with their life. She said, everybody else moves on as if things are normal now. She said, and you're left to deal with it all by yourself, because for you, life will never be normal. She says, and a lot of times you're made to feel like You're in it all by yourself. But look what Paul says about when you're feeling like you're in it all by yourself. He says, everybody deserted me. No one stood by me, but the Lord. Come on, somebody. But the Lord stood at my side. When everybody left me, when everybody abandoned me, when everybody was nowhere to be found, even out of all of the people that I've poured into and the work that I've done, I've given my life to people, and I've forsaken myself, I've forsaken my family, I've sacrificed over and over and over. The very reason why I'm in this prison facing execution is because I gave my life to the church. He said, and now they've abandoned me. He said, but the Lord stood at my side. And the good thing about God standing at your side is the second part that he says. He says, and not only did he stand at my side, but he gave me strength. Can I just tell somebody who's going through it right now? Can I tell somebody whose storm is bigger than Zeta? Can I just tell somebody who's dealing with the storm of your life right now that even when everybody else abandons you, God hadn't left you? No, he hadn't. He's still right there by your side. He's still giving you strength. He's still encouraging your heart. His strength is still being made perfect in your weakness. And can I tell you about this? It's not about the storm that you're in. It's about who's in the storm with you. It's all about who's beside you. And when you realize that the God of all creation, who gave his son, who gave his very life for you, when you realize that he's in the storm with you, oh, I got to tell you, it changes your posture. It improves your mood. It builds your faith. It redirects your mindset. When you recognize that even though you're in the presence of a storm and everyone might have abandoned you, but the Lord is right there with you. He's strengthening you. I'm going to tell you, it changes how you ride out the storm. It changes how you face the dark days. It changes how you live through the rainy nights, because it's not about the storm that you're in. It's about who's with you in the midst of it. See, a lot of times we're looking for a trouble-free life, but I tell you all the time that real peace isn't found in a trouble-free life. We'll never have a trouble-free life, real peace, and we don't need a trouble-free life. Yes, I said it. We don't need a trouble-free life. Why? Because real peace is not found in the absence of trouble. Real peace is found in the presence of Jesus. I'm going to say that again. Real peace is not found in the absence of trouble. Real peace is found in the presence of Jesus. Even in the midst of my trouble, he walks with me. He's with me. He's right beside me. He encourages me. He said he will never leave me nor forsake me. Look at verse 23 again. Paul said, last night, while I was in the storm, last night, when we were thinking about giving up hope, last night when it seemed like the storm would never end, last night when we couldn't see the light of day, last night in the darkness of the night, an angel of the God to whom I belong. Don't you miss that? He said, the God to whom I belong. What Paul was saying there is, I belong to him. I'm his possession. I'm his child. He has authority over my life. He takes responsibility for me. And because he takes responsibility for me, when he comes and stands on the side of me in the middle of a storm and tells me, don't be afraid, Paul. Why did he tell him not to be afraid? It's right there in the text. He said, because you got to stand trial before Caesar. Come on, man. In other words, what God was saying to Paul was, Paul, don't you be afraid of this storm. Why? Because I'm right here with you. And not only am I right here with you, but you're going to make it through this storm because I got more for you to do. You're going to make it through this storm because I've purposed you. You're going to make it through this storm because I have more work for you to do. You're going to make it through this storm because I'm not finished with you yet. In other words, this storm is not going to kill you, Paul. Why? Because God has more for you to do. Can I just give somebody a word? Can I just encourage somebody? Can I just tell you that God ain't finished with you yet? Can I just tell you tonight?